Gentleman's Homebrew, coming at you with a beer review. Tonight I'm going to be watching The Hobbit, the two first movies, so that I can go out and enjoy the new movie in the theaters and be right up to date. And what better to have while watching that movie than Smaug Stout? Don't you think? The Desolation of Smaug. This is the part of the Hobbit series from Fish Brewing Company. Fish Brewing Company is out of Olympia, Washington. They've got a great brew pub. It's the Fishtail Brew Pub. I have been there. They've got a nice food selection. They've got some great beers. I like the ale series that they have and the Monkfish Belgian Style Triple. It's a really great beer. But anyway, they make some good stuff. So, I'm never really so sure about these series where they have the, these themed beers don't always live up, but this one should be interesting. They've named it after Smaug, so it's only appropriate then that they put habanero chilies in there. That's right. And so let's see how this one comes out. Oh, I can already smell the chili in it from here. That was interesting. Well, I could smell the chilies as I was pouring it, so that's quite interesting. It's a thin head, not a really big head. It's pretty much black, I would say, but it's a thin brown head on there. So let's get a nose on it. Okay, you do get some of the chilies right away, along with chocolate. Those are your biggest notes, is the chocolate with the chilies. That's interesting. I get a little bit of like cocoa, maybe some dark chocolate, maybe even some milk chocolate on there. So hopefully it's got some layers, a little bit of toastiness to it. It has definitely, though the chilies are coming through and you get hints of some coffee on there. Maybe the slightest bit of a smokiness, but not much. So I've tried to let this warm up a little. Probably needs to warm up some more, but we're going to just go ahead and jump in. So cheers. That's a bit all right. Yeah, I'm not quite as disappointed as I would have honestly expected. This is just to tell you the truth. There's a nice smoky char wood and smoky bitterness on the backside. I'm going to start there because that's what's in my mouth at the moment. And it dries out a little bit. Interesting. But I think that follows the theme of Smaug and the whole Hobbit very well. On the front side, the first thing that hits you is a light sweetness with chocolate. And I get kind of a cocoa, powdered cocoa kind of a chocolate with a hint of dark chocolate, but honestly there is milk chocolate in that as well. I get a whole set of layers going on there, which is really nice. The pepper's not an extreme heat. Probably could have had more heat, but probably wisely so they didn't. So it could reach a broader audience. The roasted malts are there. They're a solid part of the body, but they're not overpowering. They're allowing it on the front of the taste for those chocolates to come through. Now, as you get through the chocolates, and then you kind of get into that mid where you get some of the roast with the chocolates and the coffee, then on the backside, that's again where I said it starts sinking in. Now you start tasting the chilies, and it really just coats your tongue. It's a little bit sticky, and it just completely coats the tongue, and you get this bitterness on the backside and just a little bit of that heat. The alcohol, this is a 9.5% ABV beer, and it's 65 IBUs. The alcohol, though, is really completely masked by everything else going on. It's smooth, slightly creamy, kind of more on the silky side. It's a moderate carbonation, which is really appropriate for the style. Boy, that bitterness is picking up as I go. So I'm going to take a little bit of time with this, and I'll come back with some final evaluation and conclusions and numbers for you. Cheers. Well, I took a little bit of time to taste it and enjoy it. I was talking to my wife about it. She actually really liked the aroma on it, and she decided she wanted to sip, which never happens. I'm just telling you, it never happens. She's not a beer drinker. The up front sip is really nice. I mean, she was definitely getting those chocolates, the layers of chocolates, along with that bit of coffee. some coffee, black coffee or espresso, like a darker roast. But you definitely get bitterness from the chilies on here. And that's something you want to avoid when you're brewing. You want to get that heat, but probably not the off bitterness off chili. I don't think they did a great job with the chilies, from my perspective. I've made chili beers, and I think you got some chili on it, but you didn't get the chili bitterness on the backside, which I'm getting off this beer, which is really unfortunate because the rest of the beer tastes really good. It's just as it sits on your palate, like now. Nonetheless, though, I appreciate that they went for the heat, and I like that you get a lot of char coming in, because I just think of Smaug, man, just burning the hell out of everything, right? Going back to poor old Lake Town and just bam! All right, time to rate the beer. That's always the interesting part. You don't want to grade this up because you like the whole bit about the Hobbit. I love the Hobbit. You know, actually, I like the book better than the movies. I think they did a great job attempting to make a beer that fits Smaug, and I really appreciate that. So for an Imperial Stout and a theme beer, you know, I'm going to give them a B. I think that, you know, it's not bad. I'm going to give it an 86 as far as Imperial Stouts go. So I'm going to drop down. I'm going to give it a B-. It's going to be about an 82 for me. And but it's a fun themed beer. This was a gift, so I thank my brother-in-law, Paul. So here it is again. It is Smaug Stout, part of the Hobbit series of the Desolation of Smaug from Fish Brewing Company. Folks, if you're ever in Olympia, Washington, definitely check out the Fishtail Brew Pub. Wonderful place. I'm here to tell you, life's too short to drink cheap beer, and I'll see you in the next beer review.